Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Bakersfield West Rotary Stroop Family Foundation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, Kern High School District, and AC Electric Company, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael, and a very important programming note. Today is December 9th. This is the final live program for 2020 for Do the Math. We'll be back in January. We'll get to a little bit more of that in a moment. But in studio with us, we have Spencer. And Spencer, if somebody wanted to get a hold of us, what would they need to do?
They would, for math homework, help call in Bakersfield 636-4357, toll free 1-866-636-6284, email dothemath@kern.org. We're online at dothemathonline.net and on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right. Now, before we get going and making you do a lot of math work today, how about if you let everybody know where you go to school and what grade you're in?
I go to Hart Elementary, and I'm in 6th grade.
Have you been at Hart for a long time?
Yes, since kindergarten.
Since kindergarten. All right, so you've been there for, this is your 7th year at Hart, so you're pretty used to the way things run over there.
Yes.
What is one thing that you look most forward to in junior high when you get there next year?
Probably just like the harder classes.
Okay,
It's pretty easy right now.
So 6th grade's going along pretty easy. Do you think that has anything to do with, because it's virtual instead of in class, do you think that has anything to do with it, or are you just a pretty smart kid?
I think a little bit of both.
Oh, there you go. That's what I wanted to hear, because I know you're a pretty smart kid, and I wanted to see if you were willing to admit that, because you are a pretty smart kid, and I certainly do appreciate you coming on the show today. All right. Do you know what we're giving away today? Do you know?
Are we giving away lights?
We are. Well, not actual physical lights, but
Yes.
you're going to be able to go see lights.
Yes.
That's right. Holiday lights at COM. That's right. We're giving those away, and today is the final day. If you plan on visiting Holiday Lights at COM, fear not. The new stay-at-home order that went into effect on Monday the 7th does not apply to this annual event. Holiday Lights this year is a contact-free drive-through experience designed to keep you safe while enjoying the dazzling lights. Daytime zoo hours, because there are a lot of people that go to COM for the zoo to see the animals and stuff like that. However, those are affected by the stay-at-home order. You'll have to put that off until the foreseeable future. That only applies to the zoo. Holiday Lights as a drive-through event this year happens nightly, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m., except Christmas Day, and goes all the way through January 2nd. So fear not. You call in today, we do one of your math problems on air. You will be going to see Holiday Lights, and the light show is still going on without any effect. So anyway, hopefully we can give away some of those tickets today. What do you think? All right. Well, before we get to all of that, let's first take a look at today's Math in the News. All right, so Spencer, you're going to help me with today's Math in the News because I've got a couple of questions. First of all, do you like Christmas music, first of all?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a particular song that you like, or you think, oh, you know, it's winter time, they play all this Christmas music, and there's one I kind of recognize or I like?
I'd probably say Up on the Housetop.
Okay. That's a classic right there, right? There's a lot. And they're being played out all the time and stuff like that right now. Well, the other day in the newspaper, they had an article with Mariah Carey. Do you know who Mariah Carey is? You ever heard of her?
No.
Okay, well, she's a pretty famous singer. And anyway, she has a pretty famous song, All I Want for Christmas, right? I think it's like, All I Want for Christmas is You, or something like that, okay? So I saw this, and we're going to take a look at this, because this is some graphs and charts about this song and the history of this song, okay? So we can see that the number of times the song ranked in the top 50, this song, All I Want for Christmas is You. So we can see it looks like it came out in 2012, all right? And out of the top 50, right, it came in around 30, right, and went all the way up to, it looks like about 21, right? The next year, it went down. Why do you think it went down the following year after it came out?
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. I would think, I mean, looking at this, I might think, well, maybe people were over the excitement of it the first time, you know, like you hear it the first time, wow, it's a really good song, you know, and then they kind of get bored with it maybe over that. And then it goes down even more, right? And then all of a sudden it starts coming up. And last year was the first time it hit #1 on the charts. So it took 7, 8 years for this song to get all the way to the top. And we can see here the audio streams. So do you download music on a device, or anybody in your family or friends or anything do that kind of stuff? Mm-hmm. All right. So that's what this is. And they can see how many millions, 150 million times that thing has been downloaded. Do you think they get paid every time that happens?
Probably.
Oh yeah, they do, every time that happens. So I just figured, you know, that's kind of interesting to look at charts like that, and you can kind of decipher a lot of information, but you have to think about it also, right? Then I found another one, because with the COVID and things like that, there are different services, and we'll just kind of go like that so we can see a lot of this right now. Are you aware of services that deliver food to people at their homes?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know offhand any of those services, what they're called?
Uber Eats.
Okay. Uber Eats is one. Do you know another one?
DoorDash.
DoorDash is another one. Any others? Because those would probably be the two I think of.
Grubhub. I think.
Grubhub, there you go. You're on a roll, man. You get food delivered all the time. Yeah, I'll order from all three. First one here, I'll go. All right. Anyway, so very good. So right here we can see, now the reason this came out is because today DoorDash was made public. Its IPO, initial public offering, came out. So DoorDash, today was the first day people could invest in DoorDash. And it quite a bit of money today. I think it made like, I think it was 75% growth in the first day, which is a lot of money. But anyway, so we can see DoorDash. So let's say you lived in Houston. Looking at that graph, who do you think supplies most of the delivery service in Houston? So we can see we've got Uber Eats, Postmates, Grubhub, and DoorDash. DoorDash is, right? Even in 2018, they had 52%, so they had the majority of the market, right? And you can see that Uber Eats is pretty big on Houston, Dallas, and Philadelphia, right, as we go across that kind of dark gray at the top. But we can see that DoorDash has the majority pretty much in a lot of these places, right? Mm-hmm. And we can see now in Philadelphia, what do you think they think about DoorDash? If you lived in Philadelphia, what do you think about those Philly fans? What do they think about DoorDash?
Probably don't think it's as good as other people.
Yeah, they don't like it as much as the other ones, right? Because if you look at Philadelphia, right, the dark blue, which is I think Grubhub, those are the ones that dominate that market. So I know I'm putting you on the spot here. This is kind of a tough question. Why do you think Grubhub does better in Philly than DoorDash, which does better in other spots?
Maybe like kind of started there.
That is excellent, right? If it started there, those people are going to want to support something that started in their own city, right? I have no idea if Grubhub started there or whatever, but that's what I was looking for, right? So it's just interesting to look at different charts and graphs and kind of think about what's going on with them. And then if you like doing this stuff, you can make a living doing this, right? Making charts and graphs and things like that. And here's, you know, the rankings, and you can see DoorDash, you know, pretty steady. And then Postmates, you can see, I mean, that thing started off pretty well, stayed with the others, and that thing's kind of like, nobody even bothers with that anymore, do they? Anyway, charts and graphs, always fun to look at, always fun to make, and that is today's Math in the News. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. Today, December 9th, the last day that you can phone in and win yourself some tickets to Holiday Lights at Com, or get some math help in the meantime. But right now, we have an opportunity to visit our home building project with Castle and Cooke. We'll check this out.
Today we're continuing our series out at Highgate, and I'm with Derek Gross, Director of Home Building. How are you doing today?
Great. Yourself?
Great. Okay, so when we left off, we were actually looking at how the architect works with you and develops the homes. From there, where are we at now?
Right now we're actually on a lot for a plot plan. Remember the plot plan? So now we're actually taking what we saw from the architectural perspective, the lot and the house, and now they've actually trenched the house on the lot.
So when we were talking last, we were all talking scale. So when they have the plans out here, they really have to take that scale to be able to measure all this out.
Correct. When the trencher comes out, they actually use property pins that are identified on the front and back of the lot, and they pull the dimensions from the plot plan to start from a corner. And then they start the activity. They will actually chalk all the exterior footing locations and interior footing locations. And then they will actually bring a big trenching wheel out, and he starts digging this activity. So it is all based on the plan.
And how deep are they? Because it probably is a set depth.
It is set. Their bucket's 14 by 18 typically, so it goes down, try to get down 18 inches, so that it feels it's all the way in.
So from there, obviously they've dug it out, and then I'm seeing some poles and wood. Can you explain what all that is?
After they've trenched it, they come back and they do what they call banding the lot. So they'll band it, and this is where all the exterior, this is actually the exterior portion of the slab and the interior portion of the footings. So this, if you watch, you can see this is actually the outside of the house.
So where we're standing right now, will they be pouring slab right here?
They will be. This is actually the garage section. It's hard to see, but that's the entrance of the house, and that's actually the entry.
Okay, so all of this will be poured right here as well as here.
Yeah, this is all the slab, and this is actually the entry porch. And inside, this is the house. So right now, I'm actually, if I recall, I'm standing in the master bathroom area.
Hence all the plumbing.
Yeah. So the next step they do is they actually will place the interior plumbing. This is all the sewer lines, if you will, or gray water. And it runs it all along and actually will evacuate out of the house on the side.
So over here then, I'm taking, is that a kitchen?
That is correct. This is actually the kitchen island location.
So the trenching comes in, and obviously the plumbers are needed out here, right, with all this? And this is the time that they get all of the majority of their work set, correct?
They get the underground work done, yeah.
Okay, so really the wood represents the frame to where the cement will. So will the cement, when the foundation is poured, will the cement go up to the top of that wood?
Yes, it does.
What else is needed here besides the trenching, the plumbing? And I'm seeing all the strings.
The strings are utilized for them, again, to dimension where the locations are. So it's almost like it's a map for the people that do the work inside the house here.
So it's almost, I'm looking at it as like a big graph.
Exactly, exactly. So they are able to dimension off of a form board to a certain location, And they know from that location, they can go all the way back to know where that drain is. And that's how they're able to locate everything. Everything, again, is based upon the plan. So they follow the plans all the way down to the inch.
So before they do the cement work, are all these trenches and everything filled in?
Yeah, they're all filled in. They call them backfilled. And then they actually start what they call a grading operation. So we push all the native soil back in all the trenches, and then we'll place the reinforcement material, the mesh wire, and then we lift it up what they call chair dobies, so it sits above it. And so when you pour the concrete over it, the wire mesh sits in the middle of the concrete.
Wow, so many little details just to get the foundation, because you would think, how come you just can't come, dig out the square or, you know, the shapes that you need, pour the foundation and go, but you can't do that.
No, it has to stay in one spot, so it locks it in by the footings.
All right, so there's so much more to find out about just foundation. But for right now, we're gonna send it back to you, Mike, at the studio.
All right, thanks for that, Marylou. Also, thank you to Derek out there, as well as all of the folks out of Castle and Cooke for helping us through this project to build a house from the plans all the way up through actually furnishing it. I think we're going to end up doing that. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. We do have holiday lights to give away to all people that phone in to do the math today. And today we're going to go to the phones right now. Chapchi, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good.
And you are a 6th grade student, correct?
Yes.
All right. As soon as you're ready, let's hear the math problem that you're working on.
Okay.
Bless you to whoever that was in the background there.
Thank you. If you sold 250 shares of CLK at $48.78 per share, how many shares of MCK would you buy at $71.03 per share?
All right. So the price at the beginning was 48 7/8,
Yes.
and that was for 250 shares.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And are you selling those now, or what are you doing again?
We're selling them.
Okay. So you're going to sell those, and then you want to know how many you can buy at a new price.
Yes.
And what is the new price?
$71.34.
71 3/4.
Yes.
All right. So you're going to work with April, kind of talk your way through this thing, how you guys want to solve that. If you need some help, I've got Spencer back here ready with a calculator too.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so if we have 250 shares that we're going to sell at 48 7/8, how much money is that?
We're gonna have to whatever 48.78 is, 48.78 is. We're gonna have to multiply that by 280 because that's per share.
Okay, so if I am going to change 7/8 into a decimal, do you know how I can do that?
Yes, you divide 7 by 8.
Okay, and so I'm going to
So we'll go ahead and use the calculator for
Okay,
that. So,
so we'll
7
do
divided
a
by 8,
calculator.
Spencer?
That is 0.875.
0.875.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's 0.875 plus the $48, I have 48.875. And Jepchi, I have to make that cents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how many, how do I round that to the nearest cent?
Well, 7 it runs the 8 up to a 9, so it should be $48.90.
That might change our value a lot if we have 250 shares. So I'm actually going to look at the 5
Oh. Okay.
because I'm going to go 2 decimal places behind. That's what gives me cents.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to look at the 5 and then move the 7. So let's do that instead. So then we're going to get $48 and how many cents?
88 cents.
88 cents. And then I'm going to multiply that by 250 and
48.
So 4888 times 250.
because I have 250 shares.
250.
How much is it?
It'll be 12,220.
12,220 even?
Yes.
So when I multiply 4888 by 250 shares, I get $12,220. So I'm gonna take my $12,220 and now I need to buy 71 stock with $71.03. Let's change that into a decimal as well, because I can't use a fraction here. With money, money's not a fraction. It's a decimal.
$71.75.
Okay, so now what do I do in order to figure out how many shares I can buy of this new stock?
You divide.
220.
I'm going to divide what numbers?
And divide it.
You divide 12,220 by 71.75.
All right, great job. And that's going to give me, what is it going to give me? Not the total. What am I finding now?
You're finding how many shares you can buy.
How many shares I can buy? Very good. And how many shares is that?
170 shares.
170
Is that what you got,
shares. Is that
Spencer?
correct, Spencer?
Yeah.
All
There
right.
we go.
Great job, Jebji.
Done and verified by Spencer as well. So Japji, wonderful job right there. You've got yourself a voucher for a whole carload of your family to go enjoy holiday lights at Com. So we certainly do have an opportunity to do that and enjoy that holiday lights. One of the best in the West. Actually, I think it is ranked one of the top 10 in the entire Western United States. So if it's not a tradition, maybe you start one this year. All right, young man, you ready to get to work?
Yes.
I don't give you a calculator anymore. Back to the board. All right, you want to get rid of that whole board for me, Spencer? You remember how to do that?
Sure.
There you go. All right. Now, I know that one of the things you wanted to work on was area. And we'll see if we get to surface area later on, but let's just do area of a rectangle first.
Okay.
So draw a rectangle up there. And April, how about if you give us the length?
I think the length is going to be 17 centimeters.
17 centimeters. Beautiful. And Spencer, would you like to pick the width or would you like me to do it?
You can do it.
Oh, sweet. Let's go 4.8. We're not using whole numbers here.
Centimeters.
4.8. All right, so
centimeters?
you, centimeters still. Yeah, we won't mess you up on the units and get this thing all messed up. So anyway, so explain to April how you want to do this problem. If you're a little stuck, she's right there with you.
Okay, so first we want to take the formula for finding the area of a rectangle is length times width. So
Okay.
we're going to want to take the 17 and multiply it by 4.8. For multiplication, you're just going to move the decimal over one spot. Then you can just do regular multiplication.
Okay.
So that's going to be a 6, a 5 on top.
Why are you moving the decimal, Spencer? Keep multiplying now.
So we're moving the decimal because we want to get that out of the way so we don't have to worry about it.
Does it go away forever or we're going to bring
No.
it back later?
Then when we get the answer, since we only moved the decimal over once, we're going to move it back
You're
one
awesome.
time.
Thank you.
So that'll be 13.
So 8 times 1 is 8 plus 5 is 13 is where that comes from?
Yes.
Okay.
Then we're going to add a 0 right here. And
Because we've already multiplied the ones and we're going into the
Yes.
tens columns, right?
so 4 times 7 is 28. So we add the 8 right there. We can erase that.
We've used the 5, so we don't need it.
We can add a 2 right here. Then we multiply 4 times 1 plus 2, which is 6.
Okay.
Then we add those together, which is
Finding the sum.
6, 11, and then that'll be 7.
Wait, 6 plus 1 is 7, but didn't you bring over another one?
Yeah.
So is that 6 plus 1
Oh,
plus
wait.
1?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. So, we'll do 8. And then since we have the decimal over here, we're going to drop it and move it over one spot. So the area of this rectangle is 81.6 centimeters squared.
And it's centimeters squared because we're multiplying centimeters times centimeters, which gives
Yes.
us centimeters squared.
There you
Very
go.
nice.
Nicely done. Great problem right there. Get your feet wet with area right there. We're going to go back to the phones right now. And Emma, how are you this afternoon?
Can you clarify?
Hello, Emma.
Hi.
As soon as you're ready, Emma, let's hear the math problem that you're working on.
Okay. So it is 1,696.
4696, I think.
1,696 divided by 4.
Okay. So Emma, do you already know what should we do first? We want to know how many groups of 4 is in 4,696, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to take and divide 4.
I'm going to divide. So I have to see how many times 4 could go into 16, which is 4 times. So you put the 4 in the top, and number is supposed to subtract with 16.
Hold on, Emma. So what number are we dividing 4,696 by 4?
4. Wait, can you repeat that again?
We're dividing 4,696 by 4?
Yes.
Okay. And then we're going to put, we're going to take 4 times 4, which is 16.
So,
Or
Emma,
are we gonna-
Emma, are you able to see the screen right now?
Yes.
Okay. Is it 4,696 divided by 4, or is it a different problem?
Oh, it is 1,000.
Oh.
So it's 1,697 or 96?
96.
Okay, so it's 1,696
Yes.
divided by 4.
Yes.
There we go. Now we've got
All
everything.
right,
good.
we are ready. So now I see where 16's coming from. So 4 goes into, what did you tell me? 4 goes into 16 how many times?
4 times.
Okay. And we're going to put that, oh, you told me to put it on the top. I put it on the top where?
Above the 16.
Above the 1 or the 6?
Above the. So.
Let me get rid of that for you, April.
Thank you.
Above the 6.
So you're just going to have to rewrite it, but. Whoop, let me give you a pen back here.
Hold on just a second, Emma.
Try that.
Oh, not so cute.
If you want to, you don't even have to use that. You can just go right to the board and do it.
Cool.
That might make things a little easier for you.
So 4 goes into 16 4 times above the 6 because 4 doesn't go into 1, right?
Yes.
And so then 4 times 4 you told me was 16. And now what am I going to do?
So you're going to subtract 16 minus 16.
And that
which
gives
is
me,
0.
okay. And now what do I do?
You bring down the 9 next to the 0.
Okay.
And you see how many times 4 could go into 9.
4
which
goes
is
into
twice.
9 how many times? Twice?
Yes.
And that's going to go above the 9. It's hard to see here. And 4 times 2 is?
4 times 2 is 8.
Great job. And now I'm going to subtract again. And 8 from 9 is?
1.
And I'm going to bring down the?
6.
6. And 4 you already told me goes into 16?
4 times.
4 times. And I can make 424 groups of 4 from 1,696.
There you go. Nicely done, Emma. Thanks for that phone call. And you have got yourself a ticket to Holiday Lights at Cooke. You can bring your whole family in a car and enjoy that
Can you
light
use this
display
pen
out
next time,
there. So
Spencer?
congratulations on
Yes.
that. Hey, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30. Today, the final day of 2020. Today is December 9th, the final day until we come back in 2021. And right now, we have another opportunity to go visit Derek, and we'll visit Marylou and see what's next in our home building project.
And we are back here at Highgate with Derek Gross. Now, Derek, we left off. We were just seeing how the foundation is just starting. right?
Yes.
Can you kind of tell us here now what is going on? What's the next steps that are happening?
What they're doing right now is they're doing what they call grading and setting for the foundation steel.
Okay, go ahead, because I'm seeing like rebarb, I'm seeing tractors, there's just so much going on.
There is. So last time you remember we were looking at the slab that had trenches inside of it. Well, all that's been backfilled, and then we use a vapor barrier for a vapor protective of our slabs, and then they place sand on top of it.
As I can see that they're doing right now.
Correct. The next step that they'll be doing is they put what we call chair dobies, and then they'll start laying in the wire mesh.
Okay.
Along with that, they start what they put the rebar inside the footing.
So, kind of go into a little bit more detail about the rebarb into the footing, because that's kind of terminology I'm not familiar with.
So we are structural engineers require reinforcement of the concrete. So the steel rebar is in there and it creates a connectivity to the concrete and all the steel around the house. It essentially locks the concrete into the footing, if you will.
So where does the rebarb go? Is it going across?
It actually goes inside the footing. If you recall, the trencher created a 14 by 18 trench.
Yes.
It's going to be set inside that footing and inside interior footings as well.
Oh, okay.
If you recall, each time they do this, this creates, again, the connectivity of that concrete. It holds its strength together. That's
So
very
it
important for the
doesn't-
house.
It's not moving. A lot of
Exactly.
times they talk about houses settling,
Mhm.
and is that part of that process, holding that settling so it doesn't move that much?
Correct. It is. The slab itself becomes the actual stage, if you will, for the house to sit on top of. And the slab, it won't move. It just allows everything to be in a natural spot all the time.
So what is going on with the tractor right now?
The tractor, what he's doing is he's just pulling excess material out of the area. What they'll do is they just drop the sand in and then just move it around inside the slab itself.
So can we talk about leveling? Where are they trying to get to a certain level? Or I know the strings, is that where the cement's going to be coming up to?
That is correct. If you look at how the string line sets, it's on the top of the form. That's going to end up being the top of the slab. So they're pulled the strings out so the guys have a good idea of how much depth they need or height they'll need on the finished material, the sand itself.
And can we go down there and see, because he's actually laying the rebarb right now? So are these already preset? Because I see that he has like a corner piece right now, right there. Are those already pre-done?
Actually, they have a guy that knows what to do really well over there.
Oh, so he's actually bending it and getting prepared over on spot.
Exactly. And of course, the rebar has different sizes. So the sizes are correlated to the diameter of the rebar itself. And that's to enhance strength level.
So it's just one piece of rebarb that's going all along it.
They'll end up being tied together. So I think they're 14 feet long. So they tie them all together to make that. Essentially, it will work as one piece all the way around the slab.
So what is the last thing they need to do in this area before they pour? Are they doing everything, or is there really something else that's still missing?
The last thing they'll do is, they'll put the chairs and they'll put the wire mesh on top of it. And once that's done, after they've done all the tie-ins of the steel, it's ready for concrete.
And that wire mesh, is it tied down rebarb then?
No,
or is
it's
slate?
free-floated.
Oh, okay. Wow, just so much that goes into this. What's the time frame here? From what we saw with the start of the dig to laying of the cement?
We schedule 2 weeks.
2 weeks for this process.
So they'll trench it, and then they'll come back in the underground. And we have a series of inspections we also do too. So that house that we just saw before with the undergrounding, that has to be finalized, and then the city will actually inspect our work to make sure it conforms to all the requirements. Then the next step is they will come in and do the grading operations.
Will they look at it once the cement is done? Or
No, they don't.
That's
Only
another-
look at it before.
okay.
So there's 2 inspections before the underground, and then they'll do the pre-slab.
Awesome. Well, we have a lot more. We're going to go and see actually a foundation laid out.
Mhm.
But for now, Mike, we're going to send it back to you at the studio.
All right, thanks for that, Marylou. Nice to see ground broken finally, and we finally get some foundation going and get this house starting to be built. All right. We have phone tutors here until 5:30, giving away a lot of Holiday Lights tickets. We're going to do it once again. Anna Simone, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm excellent myself. You're in 7th grade, correct?
Yes.
All right. As soon as you're ready, let's hear the math problem that you're working on.
Okay. Lizzie has 6.5 hours to tutor 4 students and spend 1.5 hours in the lab. She plans to tutor each student the same amount of time. The inequality 6.5 minus 4t is greater than or equal to 1.5 can be used to find t, the amount of time and hours Lizzie could spend with each student.
All right. You've got a lot of information there, Anna Simone, so I'm going to help you out here. So I'm going to read it. You correct me if I miss anything, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to go a little slower so April can get everything on the board. All right, so Lizzie has 6.5 hours to tutor 4 students and spend 1.5 hours in the lab.
Okay.
She plans to tutor each student the same amount of time. The inequality 6.5 minus 4
Minus 4t.
4t is greater than or equal to 1.5. Can be used to find t, right? The amount of time Lizzie can spend with the students, all right? So you're solving for t with this equation, correct?
Where's the T?
So it's 4t.
Oh,
So it's 6.5 minus 4t.
okay.
So we get rid of that 1. So it's just 4, and then t is in Thomas.
Got it.
All right.
Okay. So can you solve the equation, Anna? How do we solve the equation? So what do I do first?
So you would subtract 6.5 from both sides of the sign.
And 6.5 minus 6.5 cancels, and I have negative 4t is greater than or equal to, what is 1.5 minus 6.5?
5.5, negative 5.5.
Negative 5.5. And
Sorry, that's negative 5, I believe.
Yeah, I was
You're
going to say, if
correct.
you're subtracting those decimals after that, that's going to come out to be a whole number.
Yeah.
okay, so now what do I have to do?
Divide negative 4 from
Divide
each
negative
side.
4.
Get rid of
And then negative 5 divided by negative 4 is
negative 1 1/4.
so if I have a negative 5 divided by a negative 4, I'm going to have a positive 1 and
Yeah, positive 1 1/4.
Right, 1 1/4, 1.25.
okay, when I'm dividing inequalities by a negative number, I have to change the direction of the inequality. So it's no longer greater than, now the time is less than
Or equal to that amount
or
of time.
equal to.
So,
Which means Lizzie has less than 1 1/4 hour per student. So does that make sense? Is that a true statement?
does that make sense to you, Anna Simone, that she has 1 1/4 hours with each of the students?
Yes.
Okay, and how long is 1/4 of an hour?
25 minutes.
Well, it's 0.25 as a decimal, but how many minutes are in an hour?
60.
Okay, and we want 1/4 of that. So what's,
So 15 minutes.
there you go, right? So I wanted to make sure that you understood that it wasn't 1 hour and 25 minutes, it was 1 hour and 15 minutes because the 1/4 hour. Does that make sense now?
Yes.
All right, good. Well, thank you for that phone call. That was a great call. And because of that, you've got yourself a pass to go see Holiday Lights at a Com, and congratulations on that. All right, young man, you ready to do a little bit of work?
Yes.
All right, come on over here. And we are going to use these Cuisinart rods. Have you ever used these before?
No, I don't believe so.
Man, big day for both of us then. All right. So, what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of investigate with these a little bit first. And if we get to some other activities, we'll do that.
Okay.
What I'd like you to do is take out one of every color that you see, first of all.
Okay.
So just take out one of every single color.
A lot of colors.
Yeah, a lot of colors. You think you've got them all? Maybe you get an orange there. There you go. You think you've got them all?
I believe so.
All right. What can you tell me about these right now? What do you notice about them?
They're all different colors and different lengths.
Okay. Is there a way that you could categorize them or put them in an order or anything like that? Like, this is 1.
Yes.
Right? You agree with that? Mm-hmm. Where do you think 2 is?
Probably the second smallest, which by looking at it looks like this one.
Right. So how would you know that, though? Is there a way, instead of just looking at it, that you can verify?
If you put this up, if you could fit one more right there,
Right.
then you know.
And
it
go ahead.
doesn't.
I mean, if you want to, you can take some other ones out to prove that, that does work, right?
So since there's 2, that means this is 2.
Good. All right. So quickly, can you kind of put them in order?
Yes. So it'll be this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Nope, that's too long.
Close.
This one,
There you go.
this one, and then this one.
Good. So how many are there in total?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice whole number. And they increase by 1 every step, correct?
Yes.
And that's easy to see the way you've got them laid out right there.
Mm-hmm.
So the dark green one,
Okay.
what is that value? What's that number if we had to put a number on it?
That'd be 6.
That'd be 6, all right? So I will let you choose any number, any one of these rods from the green below. So you can use the green if you want, or any one below. Choose one of them.
Okay.
And just pull it out to the side.
I'll go with this one.
Excellent. So what is the value of the black?
Since it's one more than the green, it'd be 7.
Okay, good. So what I want you to do is I want you to see if there's another way, and there's other rods here you can use, to make 7 some other way instead of just a whole one like that.
Okay. You could use 3 and a 4.
Okay, so the green one represents what?
Since it's 3 of one whole, it'd be 3/7.
Right, so the green is 3/7 right now, and the purple one is
4/7.
perfect. Is there another way you can make that without doing the 3/7 and 4/7?
You could do.
Well, leave those right there.
Okay.
We'll just stack them right on top of each other so we can see all the different ways.
You could do this one and then use a small one.
So tell me what 2 fractions make up that whole thing now.
That'd be 6/7 and 1/7.
Perfect. Can you find another way?
Let's try this. Yeah, that works.
Good. What is it now?
That would be 5/7 and 2/7.
Perfect. Can you find another way?
Okay. Let's see what we got here.
Let me ask you something. Can you use any of these rods?
No,
Why not?
because they're bigger than that.
Right. So you can't even use these.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So here's all the ones you can use. So see if you can figure out another way to make 7/7.
Okay. We could do. Could do that.
And what is that?
That would be 4/7 plus 1/7 plus 1/7 plus 1/7.
Perfect. Can you find another way?
Let's do.
I'm trying to see if you can find 7 ways to make 7 sevenths. So.
Do that.
And what is that?
That would be 5/7 plus 1/7 plus 1/7.
Now, somebody might go, well, he used the big yellow there before, the 5/7. What's different between this and that?
This is 2 1/6 2 1/7 instead of 2 7.
Perfect. Nice explanation. Can you find another way?
Let's see what we got here. Go.
What have you got now?
You have 3/7 plus 2/7 plus 2/7.
Good. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have you stop right there for a moment, all right?
Okay.
And we're going to go to the phones again because I know that we've got somebody else online right now. Nathan, you're a sophomore at Stockdale High School, correct?
Yes.
All right. As soon as you're ready, let's hear the math problem that you're working on. While you're doing that, Spencer, I want you to keep working on making 7s.
Okay.
All right? So you can go ahead and keep working on that.
Go ahead, Nathan.
Okay. I have a system of equations.
Okay, so I have, you have two equations with 2 variables, correct?
Yes.
So I have x equals 2y plus 3 and 2y minus 4x equals 6, correct?
Correct.
And you're supposed to solve using the most efficient method?
Mm-hmm.
What methods do you know?
I know substitution and elimination.
So what would be most, oh, okay, there's another one?
Sorry. No, I was just going to say that I chose substitution for this one.
Why'd you choose substitution? Why would that be the most efficient method?
Because the first equation already has it solved out for me where it's x equals 2y plus 3.
So we know that the value of x is 2y plus 3, and what we're going to do is we're going to substitute that for what?
The variable x
The variable x where?
in the second equation.
So I'm going to take that and plug it into the second equation.
Perfect. And I'm going to give you guys about 2.5 minutes.
So, okay, so I have 2y minus 4, and instead of x, I already know what x is, so I'll write that instead, right? So x is 2y plus 3, and then that equals 6. Now I'm going to distribute. I have 2y minus 4 times, so I'm going to multiply. What am I multiplying here?
I'm multiplying the 4 to the 2y and the 3.
Okay, so it's going to be negative 4 though, right?
Yes.
So negative 4 times 2y gives me what?
Negative 8y.
And negative 4 times 3 gives me,
Negative 12.
and I'm going to combine like terms now. So what does that give me?
Negative 6y and minus 12 equals 6.
And keep going. How do I find the value of y?
I add 12 to both sides, and I get negative 6y equals 18. And then I divide by negative 6 on both sides, and I get y equals negative 3.
And now that I have the value of y, how do I find the value of x?
So I take the value of...
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I think he's breaking up a little bit there. Can you still hear us, Nathan? He's breaking up, I think. So
Okay,
why
so
don't
I'm
you just
gonna
put
take the value
-3
of
in
y,
there and go ahead and
then I'm
do
going
it.
to take it and substitute it for y here. So x is going to be 2 times negative 3 plus 3, and x will be negative 6 plus 3, and x is going to be negative 3. So the solution to the system is x, which is negative 3, y, which is negative 3.
There you go. Great
that's the
problem right
solution to
there.
the
And thank you for
system.
that call, Nathan. Hopefully that helps you out. Sorry about the auditory or the audio right there. at the end of the phone call, but you did able to see it. You got yourself a couple of tickets, or a ticket to Holiday Lights at Com, but it counts for a lot of people, the people you can put in your car. Right now, we're going to go to a student from Old River Elementary. And Kelly, how are you today?
I'm good.
And what grade are you in?
I'm in 6th.
Okay, as soon as you're ready, let's hear that math problem.
Okay. A father left all his money to his 3 children. Child A received 1/6 of the money, while child B received 1/7. Child C, who received the remainder, was given $23,490. How much money did child A receive?
Okay, so C received how much money again?
$23,490.
So $23,490 is what child C received. You
That's
need
the-
to find out what child A received, and April is going to have about 90 seconds to kind of set it up for you, and then we will probably call you back to verify everything that's going on. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, so April's going to help you set it up because we've only got about 90 seconds to set it up, and then we'll get back to you right after
I think
this.
we're confused.
So C gets 23,490?
That's not the total?
No. So C gets 23,490. So we already know what child C receives,
Okay,
and that's part of what all 3 get.
okay.
So child A is going to get 1/6 of a total, and B is going to get 1/7 of a total, and we already
And
know
they already
C has
have
their
that.
amount. So probably the easiest thing to do would be turn the 6 and the 7 into common denominators of 42.
Got it.
Right. There we go.
So then I have, what would be the common denominator of 6 and 7?
Are you there, Kelly?
Yes. It would be 42.
42. So I'm going to find, because I can't add numbers with like or unlike denominators, I have to find a common denominator. And if my original denominator is 6 and my new denominator is 7, my new denominator is 42, what did I multiply 6 by to get 42?
7.
So I have to multiply the numerator by the same thing, and that gives me
Yeah.
7/42. So if my old denominator is 7 and my new denominator is 42, what did I multiply 7 by to get
You
42?
multiply 7 by 6.
And so I have to multiply the numerator by the same, and what's my new numerator?
6.
6.
There you go. So right now we've got it kind of set up for you. So what we're going to do, Kelly, is kind of get you going on this. But in the meantime, we're going to have our last opportunity to go out and visit Marylou at Castle and Cooke and see how the house is going with Derek.
And we are back here at Highgate with Derek Gross, Director of Home Building. Derek, where we left off, they were just starting to pat everything down, getting ready to lay that rebarb, right?
Correct.
And now look where we're at.
This is the finished result of the slab.
Okay, can you walk us through this?
Yes. If you remember last shot, the trenching of the foundation for the footings themselves, so that's the exterior of the house. If you notice each one, they also have the bolts stabbed in.
These right here, yes.
That's correct. And what ends up happening with the bolts is we'll see when they start framing the home, is this actually holds the frame to the slab itself.
Oh, it is the bolts.
Correct.
Okay.
So if you remember also, the trench itself was a certain width and depth. That's been all filled in with concrete. And then those string lines that we talked about being the height of the slab, everything was screeded to that height.
To where those strings were.
Correct.
Now, also we're seeing all of the plumbing of what you want shown, correct?
Yes, so the kitchen island,
Uh-huh.
there it is right there.
It's right down there. And then obviously the others, is that a bathroom over there?
That is correct. That's actually the master bathroom. So all the gray water or sewer water, if you will, it's all been stubbed up and it's ready for connections.
To go.
So
So why, I'm looking at these cuts within. What are those for?
Actually, we cut those to actually allow the slab to crack, if you will, because concrete's never going to be perfectly together. So we allow the slab to crack in these locations. We want it to crack there, and it stays in those locations.
To set that foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also noticing, obviously, all the framework is gone.
Correct. All the form boards are stripped off. It's all set up to go for framing to come on top of it.
Can you kind of go in a little bit more about the cement?
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously there's mathematics in that as well.
Correct. The structural engineer has a certain requirement of the PSI that we utilize. We also go above it a little bit. So we utilize a 3,500 PSI concrete mix.
Can I ask you what PSI means?
Pressure per square inch. So the concrete, we want our concrete to be strong, and we also want it to be dry, so no water starts to emanate from it. So it's really, there's a lot of math involved in it, and also the math includes all the footings and everything that we saw last time. How it all goes together, and how then when we start seeing the framing, you'll see how it all ties together.
And obviously this light goes back to the plans and all the mathematics that you put in, because you've had to figure out how much to bring per square footage of what the home is going to be.
Exactly. Our concrete subcontractor, he actually has a little wheel, and he goes around the whole house plan, and he calculates it out with a pencil. So he figures out the total quantity areas that he needs for his footings. He figures out the total livable area that he needs for the actual slab. And he also calculates all the area for the garage slab.
Let's talk about the garage slab, because I'm noticing that it's lower than the rest of the house.
It is. We depress the garage slab so individuals, they can wash it out and the water doesn't get inside the house. And it also gives us a better fall into our driveway.
Now, is this done exactly the same as the rest of the house?
We'll actually pour the livable square footage area first, and then they'll come back and pour the garage slab itself. They can do it at one time, but we like it that way because they're able to back up the cement truck into the area and distribute the cement throughout the house.
Okay. So anything else about the slab?
It's just, right now it has to be level. So it has to be 1/4 and 10 inches. And so the guys that do the finishing on the slab, they're very, very good at what they do. So if you look around, it's very smooth and clean.
It is very smooth. And what is the exact height of that?
For a finished floor, we get, I believe it's 10 inches off of grade.
Wow. This has been really interesting. Seeing first just the trenching out and the plumbing work going, and then seeing the actual workers finishing it off, getting ready for that rebar. And now we're standing here at a completed foundation, getting ready. And what would be the next step?
The next step is framing.
Ah, framing.
So if you take a look over here, you can see the lumber's already being dropped.
There you go. And obviously, looking at these, there's probably more purpose to those coming, correct?
Yeah, they'll utilize the bolts to actually hold down the plates. So the framer will come along here and he'll mark every single bolt line for his plate line.
Wow, so much going on. Thank you again. This has been wonderful, just seeing all the steps that are involved with the foundation of the house. Thank you again, it's been absolutely wonderful. And that's it from Highgate today. We're sending it back to you, Mike, at the studio.
All right, thanks for that, Marylou. Also, thank you to Derek and everybody at Castle and Cooke. Spencer, I wanted you to find 7 ways to find 7 sevens. How many did you find?
15.
Whoa, you doubled it and then did more after that. And you said you could have found more too, right?
Yeah, if I had more blocks.
All right. Did you learn a little something today?
Yes.
Did you have fun?
Yes.
That's the important thing right there. Hey, until we see you in 2021, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Bakersfield West Rotary Stroop Family Foundation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, Kern High School District, and AC Electric Company. with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.